The Olympics are making headlines because, oh my God, the right wing is insane. And there was a boxer, or is a boxer, she advanced, who her name is, I'm
Amani Khalif.
Amani Khalif. She is from Algeria, and she defeated this Italian boxer, Angela Carini, who had a viral reaction where she cried a lot and FaceTimed her father. But she actually ended up apologizing just like an hour or so ago. So kudos to her, because I think she didn't probably realize the firestorm that this would set off.
It's unclear to me about that because
I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt because she did apologize.
Fair enough. She has a history of, it looks like, taking dives. In 2022, she also fell in front of an opponent, which seemed... And also, I will just say, the dad who she got on FaceTime and said, I wanted to win this, but the person unfairly was put against me. Her dad is a police officer.
In Italy?
Yeah, in Italy. So just a little background. But yeah, the right wing absolutely caught on to it. In part, I think, if you had the exact same, say, chromosomal issue, because just to let people know on the info, born a woman, female genitalia, XY chromosomes. Which happens. And I wonder, they would know if they weren't so, what is a woman? You don't know what a woman is. Well, maybe you should do a little bit of research into some of these, say, middle cases. So again, female genitalia, always just a woman, but XY chromosomes. And the idea that people you're looking at a doctor. What are the mammograms?
Right.
Or no, not mammograms.
No, mammograms for your breasts.
What's the one for
ultrasound?
Ultrasound. Saying we're going to do gender reveal. Well, maybe we'll wait till the testosterone test or something.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, they are always railing about how if you have a penis, you can't be a woman. Well, okay, this person has a vagina.
Doesn't have a penis.
Doesn't have a penis. Has a vagina. Has a uterus. But has a bit different hormonally and chromosomally, a little bit different than other cis women.
Which even that, I have to say, our source for that is the Russian Olympic
we don't
committee.
know.
We don't know because
which is why we shouldn't be policing this.
Exactly.
This is
There's
insane.
A massive privacy assault in addition to other things.
But the point is just that if you identify as a woman, you get to participate in female sports. You do. You just do. That's the reality that we live in. And especially as trans care gets more and more disseminated and kids are able to use puberty blockers and other hormone replacement as they're younger, this is a non-issue. What's between your legs is a non-issue. But it's actually not even what's between this boxer's legs. It's her specific chromosomal and hormonal makeup, which I didn't realize that when gender or sex is assigned at birth, that they do blood tests on the infant just to determine, specifically, what hormonal levels are we seeing here? Because
yeah, what is a woman? Well, let's do the blood work.
No, like other cis women, she was assigned female at birth because her genitalia matched it. But no, that's not enough for the freaks on the right. I mean, trigger warning here. This is a horrible word that's used, a slur.
Genuinely hate speech incoming here.
Incoming, but just wanted to play this because this is the right wing. What's this woman's name? Valentina? She's running in... Here we go. Yeah, Valentina Gomez. She is running in Missouri.
Missouri's 41st secretary.
And she was already the Secretary of State in Missouri.
She's running her election as I believe next week.
Okay, so this person has been elected to office. Here she goes talking about this woman in the Olympics.
These faggots should get their own faggot category because before, if a man hit a woman, it used to land him in jail. Now, it gets you a gold medal at the Olympics. These are the worst Olympics in history. They have made a mockery out of Christianity and women. And let me remind you, there's no such thing as a chick with a dick. Keep women's sports female.
Okay. So, lovely.
Amani Khalif does not have, I repeat, a dick, as Valentina Gomez says there.
Well, let's ask J.K. Rowling. Let's see what she has to say about this. I'm sure this is going to be entirely measured. This is somebody who has decided that as a billionaire, after writing a franchise, and those were being made into movies with spin-offs, and then, you know, there's going to be an HBO show involved here, that her life is better served, not just like sitting on her pile of money, but attacking women and trans women throughout the country and throughout the world. She says, could any picture sum up our new men's rights movement better? The smirk of a male who knows he's protected by a misogynist sporting establishment, enjoying the distress of a woman he's just punched in the head and whose life ambitions he just shattered. First of all, okay, cry more, lady. She fell.
People don't know sport. They don't care about sports. They don't actually want women participating in competitions.
Are you telling me that the woman who thought of the game Quidditch doesn't understand sports? You know, where like the entire game just ends if you catch one ball and then everybody else is kind of meaningless? The snitch, I mean...
Hasn't translated to video games.
No, and also just doesn't translate to real... Like, okay, I mean, I guess in football, the quarterback is the most important position, but it's not so important that, like, the quarterback could do one thing and end the entire game just easily. Whatever. I just find the rules for Quidditch to be bizarre. But long story short, that is not a man. It's not even a trans man or a trans woman. It is a woman who she just decides to misgender the entire time because it fits her specific deranged agenda, and because so much of this anti-trans panic is focused on like the protection of a specific kind of white lady, in their vision of who needs protection and who is unworthy of protection, and often that falls along racial lines.
If this was a Swedish boxer versus an Italian boxer, we would not be hearing about this.
Yes,
I don't think
we would not be.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I mean, look, the problem with all of this is that Kamala Harris has yet to weigh in. Jesse Waters is very upset about this. Where has Kamala Harris been on the issue of our time? The Algerian boxer defeating the Italian boxer in the Olympics. This is what everybody needs to hear. How can we move on as a society until we hear from the presumptive Democratic nominee about what her thoughts are on this? Here he was last night bitching about this again. And again, this is not, sorry, we're a little shorthanded today. Here we go. Yeah.
You have a female nominee for president of the United States, of the free world, and this is one of the biggest gender controversies of the year in the Olympics. And Kamala Harris hasn't said anything, and she hasn't even been asked about it. And that's a cover-up. And that's a real shame.
Crickets.
You have a female nominee for president of the United States, of the free world.
She hasn't weighed in. How disqualifying.
It's actually disqualifying that J.D. Vance, who didn't learn the lesson from 2020 when he decided to say Simone Biles is weak for, the yips or whatever she had, also was quick to weigh in on this, saying it was just a man punching a woman, when, of course, that's not the case. It is not a man. Unless they have some, it's insane how they don't understand also, we need to emphasize the allegation regarding the chromosomal difference, which, even if true, I think is understandable, because there are whether, let's say she has a testosterone advantage, right? Like, where do you actually put the cutoff there?
Right.
We have seen this happen a number of times where women, even without that, the XY chromosomes, have had higher testosterone and have been disqualified. Guess what color their skin is often,
exactly,
right? Like this is ridiculous. And all of a sudden, what is a woman isn't just like, well, is it a P or a V? It's, well, let's check those testosterone numbers.
Well, let's return to the Michelle Obama is a man stuff from the Obama administration, right? Like, you just see how these things are intersectional, and how whether black people or non-white people in general are portrayed as more menacing, stronger. Black men, it's the same thing. Black women, they're just men, and you should be scared of them regardless because they're so much stronger and they're secretly hiding something from you. And she's from Algeria, this boxer, but still.
And also has lost to women before.
Yeah, and they specifically fixate too, I think, on combat sports like boxing because it evokes that like protectionist kind of old racist trope we've seen in the United States as it relates to things like, with Emmett Till or with other lynchings where black people were targeted or non-white people have been targeted in this country, or let's be real, October 7th and the rape propaganda that came out about that in order to justify the genocide. Colonialism and white supremacy is built upon the bones of black people, of non-white people, of indigenous people. And some of those folks have been accused of sexual crimes against white people and were killed for it because people just wanted to kill the non-white people. This is a trope that is as old as time. So I know that may seem obscure and disconnected from this instance of transphobia directed towards a person who is not trans in the Olympics, but it still is connected because all of these things are in our cultural Western memory.
Accusing people who aren't actually trans of being trans is going to be the main upshot of all of this shit. Like the so-called policing the hypothetical person who is faking something to get it. That is a fantasy. That is a hysterical, ludicrous phantom of a right-wing fascist imagination. What is going to happen is women who excel at these sports, who like maybe they have some kind of lactic acid advantage or something like that. All of a sudden, people are going to start scratching their chin, being like, can we figure out how to exclude this person using blood work?
Yeah.
Because it's not fair given what we perceive womanhood to be.
Well, Yao Ming was 7'6". 7'6".
Michael Phelps doesn't produce lactic acid like normal people.
Yes. Was he disqualified from swimming, or is he heralded as one of the greatest athletes of all time?
Taylor Horton Tucker is 6 foot. He's 2 inches taller than me. His wingspan is 7 feet 2 inches.
Yes. And notice how none of these freaks talk about regulating professional sports in that way because of the unfair advantages that these athletes have. It's always about women's sports, which they never cared about before this. They still don't. They mock it. And the only reason they care is when they get to like side in their view of a race war that Caitlin Clark did not ask for, by the way. But when they get to cheer on Caitlin Clark getting like a bit of rookie hazing treatment in the WNBA, They only care about policing femininity because for them,
exactly,
femininity is what is defined as what they're into or what they're attracted to. And they are terrified of the idea that they may get a boner when they look at a trans woman.
They care. Yeah, exactly. And their concern here is that too hard of a punch was thrown in women's boxing.
Yes.
So thanks for loving women's sports, guys.
I'm worried that Kamala Harris hasn't weighed in on this. Can she lead the country? Can she lead the country without weighing in on the Algerian boxer controversy? I'm not exactly sure.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.